Hello, everyone. You're welcome to Real Pearl's Creative Space again. And today I have with me our favorite education futurist, the one and only one in Nigeria, is also our Research and Development Director, Mr. Adebayo Alomaja, aka BioGPT.
Thank you for having me, ma'am.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. It's good to have you here again.
Yeah, same here.
And honestly, I don't even know where to start this conversation from. It's like the rate of evolution is it's so super fast. As you're trying to grapple with one, another one is coming in, you know. And yesterday I had an interview with TechPoint Africa, and they were actually very concerned about the emotional connection between teenagers and artificial intelligence. And the question they're asking is, are these children aware that they are dealing with technology and they're not dealing with humans? And then I was asking them at the same time, I said, was there any framework to guide these children into it?
Yeah.
Because we can't just assume, you know, and say the children are supposed to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking about all the ill things that are happening based on social media, on artificial intelligence. And I'm saying things have changed.
Absolutely.
The question is, how have they changed? How can we help our children? So recently, we saw this problem. We had the AI conference in school, and then we had conversation with our children. And I was super shocked to realize that 85% of these children use ChatGPT for emotional connection. It's like a friend who listens, a friend who guides. And it was a shocker for me, because I looked at it and thought, okay, is the definition of parenting changing? Are they moving away from that and relying basically on humanoids to tell them what they want? And they believe that they're getting the right advice and that these things understand them better. So what do you say to this?
I mean, it's a very serious one. I think it's just, firstly, it reveals a serious breakage, right, in the fabric of our society today. It is true that, you know, AI has passed the Turing test, like it's called. It can sound like a human in conversations and things like that. And so that landmark, it's as it sounds, is very, very significant, right? And that's why it would mean that even in jobs and many things that involve short form and long form conversations, we've seen AI just playing, you know, in such domains, right? So, and I agree that, you know, for students, for the kids we have in our schools today, right, that it's just time. We need to be awakened to that reality that we now, before it used to be just social media that we're complaining about, or social media. Now it's social media and it's AI. The combined effect, right? Now I think this is telling us that, one, we have some new realities to deal with. And so we need to factor this into the fabric of what we call education. Because if we have an education system and it is not addressing the problems we have around us, then what do we have? What do we have? Right? So so the idea around, you know, cyber security, around online safety, you know, digital safety, and things, it should be all part of what is happening every week, even in our schools, right? Because at the end of the day, right, it's not just about the math, the English, or the science and those things, right? It's about the society and everything that is involved. We need to make it, and thank you for, you know, for organizing that conference, right? And we hope to see more of such, you know, in the education system, ecosystem, right? Because that's the way to go, right? We need to even understand, you know, from a design thinking perspective, when things like that are showing up, we have to start with empathy, which is what you did, you know, trying to listen to these kids and hear them, and now we know that, okay, this is what the problem is. That also like tells us, you know, the kind of people we need. So for teachers too as well, right? There's a role shift. So there was a time where, you know, teachers in the classroom, the job description based on that time, that society, was basically, you can work with kids in the classroom, manage the classroom. But even right now, when we are talking about classroom management, right, I think it's broader right now. Because of these issues, right? Because as a teacher, if you cannot connect with your learners, right, if you don't know how to deal with the alpha generation, if you don't understand, because they have needs, right, attention, they are looking for connection, they are looking for meaning. they have questions, if you don't know how to engage them in the classroom, these are the things that happen, right? They would rather prefer to go and sit down with ChatGPT and be learning because you really don't know how to connect with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, it's there's a lot there, right? And so we need to accept the fact that we have a different system right now.
Yeah.
And we need to go back to the drawing table. I think it's just time to redesign. It is time to redesign our systems. We cannot pretend that everything is just, no. Things are no longer the way they used to
be. Yeah.
Right? So schools have to go back and review their learning designs, right? And review their systems, because right now we are dealing with new set of challenges.
Honestly, and thank you for saying all that. And it seems as if at this point in time, education can no longer work in isolation. You need all the stakeholders to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Because as at this point in time, you see that parents, the tactic that parents are currently using is a shield them tactic. Don't let them use it. Don't let them know. Don't give them systems. That's why there is problem. And you see a lot of people, education top leaders and everyone, you hear that sound like, no, it's because you're allowing them to do this too much. And one of the things that the students said when they gave their reasons for relating emotionally with ChatGPT is that because it listens without judging.
Very powerful.
Which means we as adults, be it educators or parents, we need to relearn how to communicate with these people.
Absolutely.
How to have active listening session with them. If not, it's going to be super difficult.
Absolutely.
They are very aware. They understand this technology. They understand algorithm. They understand how it works. They understand their skills and their talent, and they don't want to be put in a particular mode. So how do we run this? Because I remember something that Jack Ma said. Jack Ma said that whatever it is we want to teach students now, it has to be something that machines cannot do. So from your perspective, what can machine not do? What should we be teaching these children?
I mean, I think from the reports and the research and the many things that I'm relating with, I think there are very fundamental things that right now humans, firstly, leadership. So where AI is right now, right? There's no sense of leadership as well, right? You have to just tell it that you want it to do this, right? So there's no AI right now that will just suddenly say it wants to solve the problem of waste management in the Digi. Right? It's still about a human seeing it and saying yes. So now how can AI help in trying to do and trying to solve, right? So I think leadership, right? And I'm glad you asked that question, right? Because as the landscape is changing, right? I mean, there are things that have not changed over the years. Recently, I was doing a research. Because every year, the World Economic Forum, they release a report on like the skills for the future of jobs. They release annual reports, right? So I was doing a research on the report they've released in the last 5 to 10 years. What are the skills that have showed up again and again and again, right? And two of those skills you find is analytical thinking and creative thinking, right? And these two skills are tied to problem solving. What that simply means is that it doesn't matter where the world goes to, the world will need problem solvers. The world will need problem solvers. As terrains, industries begins to evolve here and there, the world will need people that can identify these problems and be willing to go through the process, design thinking, trying to solve these problems, offer solutions in that regard and things like that, right? So people that have that understanding, that have that skills, that have that courage, that capacity, the world will always need, which is why, we have been shouting about design thinking in the school environment, right? It's something that needs to be seriously integrated into the system. I talked about leadership, right? And I talked about these two skills, analytical thinking and creative thinking, right? As connected to problem solving, right? I think I should just touch on those three for now.
Thank you very much. So there's another thing that actually occurred to me. So recently my daughter graduated, and then after graduation, she wants to go for the National Youth Service. In the interim, she's already doing several other things. But in the interim, while she was in secondary school, she did a bit of sewing. And during the sewing classes, they came up with a business name. A full business package, the design, her complimentary card, and things like that. And one way or the other, that thing was stuck in her mind. Because she came back and she's saying, before I go for service, can I quickly go back to sewing? I really want to learn it. And then it got me thinking, who are we supposed to be graduating? Because in that I'm saying, are we not supposed to be looking at these students as project managers, as program directors, putting them in these various leadership roles where they can actually harness, the skill sets that they have. A lot of things are going on. I know that we have a society, we have a government body, we have the Ministry of Education. We know, okay, we have other things, do WAEC, do JAM, and things are even changing. Now they say we don't need JAM again. That's another talk for another day. We don't need JAM again. But it's gradually coming up that grades are coming down and skills are going up. To you, how do you think we should run this education to allow these children graduate as who they are, the skill set they have, and who they are willing to become? In terms of, because we're having students who are super collaborative, we have those who can make things happen. I think it's important that they graduate with a portfolio. The question is how?
Yeah, I mean, very important. A lot of things there. I'm reading a book, The Last Economy, and very powerful book. I can't remember the name of the author now. Right. So, but one of the things it talked about is that the value of cognitive work is reducing. The market value of cognitive work in the school environment, we use the word cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Right?
Yes.
All right. So we need to understand in the education space that actually, just like the author said, the value of cognitive work is reducing.
Yeah.
Right. There are many jobs right now because they are heavily cognitive. They are routine based. Right. Anything that is what we don't. It's this is the beginning of a new era, right? And largely so, what has happened is that these machines have learned a lot about us.
Honestly,
we need to know that they really learned the dimensions of learning, reinforcement learning, machine learning, deep learning. Maybe we'll talk about that some other day, and how powerful those things are, and why these things are the secret behind, what we are seeing, the breakthroughs we are seeing in the AI world, right? And so, in the cognitive domain, right, jobs that require cognitive responses in such a very structured and repetitive pattern, and even the ones that are not even repetitive, right? But jobs in that domain, we are seeing AI taking over, right? Yeah. So knowledge work, anything around that, right? We are seeing AI going after stuff like that, right? And I think it will continue to grow. What we're seeing will continue to grow, right? And that's why right now, there is a need for schools to focus on the affective. So the affective, right? Yes. So if we have a school shift, I've been talking about the school shift because as this is a new era, I see a school shift that we need to pay attention to, right? We need to move more towards the affective. And I say that because something is happening subtly. Is the fact that we are beginning to lose ourselves so much as a people, right? And so the reason for this whole AI stuff and all of that is because we are seeing a society where we can't listen to ourselves anymore. There's lack of empathy, and things like that, right? That is a dangerous society. That is very dangerous. If we are gravitating towards that kind of society, that is very dangerous, where there is lack of empathy, and even reflects on the AI too, right? Because everything about AI is basically a reflection of humans and humanity, right? There's no technology is bad. It's humans behind it. It's reflecting human values, and things like that, right? So it's there's something there. There's something there. So I'm saying that the school shift that I'm trying to describe requires that we don't just put too much emphasis on the cognitive, because by the time anything we do, I want to ask ourselves, what is the market value? What is the market value? Because right now, the market value of exams is near zero. This AI took these exams. They passed them even better than humans in the, so if in our school right now, in our schools, our checkpoint is still such kind of exams, it means that we are misaligned from current realities, right? I know there might be so many sides, but there's nothing you want to say. That's just the reality. It's not what is more important? Is it the education body or the market? No, it's about the law of demand and supply.
Yes.
Right? We are seeing this thing playing out globally. Top entrepreneurs have come to come out to come and say that, see, what we care about is your skill set, is your portfolio, and things like that, So we need to move more towards the affective, I'm saying. And then as we move towards the affective, the fact that we are raising people that know how to work with people. It's becoming very important, right? Very important. We need to save this situation, right? Because if you continue on this trajectory, right, we're going to be recording more depression, more mental crisis and things like that, because we have a society where there's lack of empathy. We can't even have conversations ourselves anymore.
Actually, and I remember that I read something yesterday, and in that article it says that emotionally, I think he said the world, he said the future belongs to humans that are emotionally intelligent using intelligent technology.
Powerful.
That's what the statement says.
Powerful.
And it got me thinking, because it still reverberates back to education and how we're supposed to be running education. But now let's look at schools and school leadership. What do you see? How much shifts are you noticing? And then, even with or without the shifts, where do you think school leaders are supposed to be looking towards right now?
So I said something recently on LinkedIn. I said you will not win the next 5 years because you have technology. I think we need to understand the fact that technology is no longer a differentiator. It's no longer a superpower. The era of the reason our school is special is because we have this technology. That era has gone. In the intelligent age, it's not because you have all this technology around, all these hardwares. That era has gone. Right? You will not win the next 5 years because you have technology, but you will win because you know how to create a safe environment for learners. You know how to create a safe environment with technology for kids. If you can nurture kids that can stay safe in an online environment, you are doing well. If you can nurture kids that can create with AI and not cheat, you are doing well. If you can nurture kids that know how to navigate social media safely, you are doing well. Right? Because we cannot take these things out of the equation today. Right? These technologies, they are here. So if you currently don't even have an AI policy, that means you're already behind. Because again, these things come when social media came. There was no regulation. There was nothing. Everybody was just, schools just, there were no conferences. There were no. We need to start having these conversations, right? So even in our conferences, we need to start talking about these latest issues, right? And how they impact learning, right? Social media is impacting learners' behavior. AI is impacting learners' behavior. There are many reports in that regard. All these things are calling for a shift and a change in how teaching and learning happens. Because right now, we have a new generation of learners in our classroom and in our schools. We have a new generation of learners, and social media and AI has changed many things about their perception, right? How they perceive learning, right? So right now, we don't still talking about school and school leadership. I think it's important that every school leadership goes back to the table. It's time for a redesign. That's what I'm trying to say. It's time to go back to the drawing board. It's time for a school reset. Just see your school as a prototype, and you are trying to go from one version to another version, and asking yourself, what is the right version that our school must become because of this new era? Your policies will change. Many things will have to change around your business, right? Because this is a new era. We have new challenges to deal with, and we need to respond with empathy. We need to respond with redesign. It's very key.
So you're basically saying that the systems of the old cannot work right now. So even every system needs to change.
See, it doesn't matter how old, and I say this with respect, and I'm not trying to spy, but I'm just being factual. School business needs to learn from other industries and how they thrive, how they survive. Right? Google is very old. Right? Google is 27 this year. Right? But Google is still behaving like a startup. Because just this year alone, they have released a number of new products, right? They should have said we are Google, we are big.
Already.
we have many things. They have, but that's if you are thinking about sustainability, you have to always see yourself like you are starting afresh again every week, every month. That level of agility is very important, even in the school space, because it's just that we have not asked the right question, right? We haven't right. There are so much that is possible. I saw, even before I saw it, I've always known that it's possible. It's cool. I think in the UK where they started this shift, there's morning school and there's afternoon school. Some people resume by 8 and they close around, I think 7 or thereabout.
Yeah.
Some people resume around 1 and they close. I bet you, if we bring that model to Nigeria, you'll be surprised that there are many parents that will tell you that I think we prefer that afternoon option.
You know these things we had years ago in the public schools, public primary schools of those years. Then,
so you know, what stopped? Who says it's not possible to have morning, afternoon, and evening school? It's very possible. If your data, if you do the survey and you push it out, because I do know that we have a group of parents, right, who morning doesn't work for them, right? So it's not everybody that does 9 to 5. Not every parent that does. From your parent database, how your parents 9 to 5ers? If they are 9 to 5ers, fine. Maybe that model will not apply to you. But if they're not all 9 to 5ers, then you really want to think about creating a system that can accommodate them, right? I'm telling you, there are parents that will prefer afternoon schools and evening schools as long as the modalities work and things like that. So I'm just saying there are so many things that the current school model can become.
Wow.
There's the possibility of you running like an online school. I'm not talking about online tutoring. I mean an online school that caters to people that just wants to learn online. There are people that are nomads. I'm sure there are people that like traveling a lot and all of that. And families like that. And I want to say, that doesn't disrupt your child's learning. With us, we have, so there are many things. And the interesting thing is that building an architecture, right, for things like that is now easier in this era.
Yes.
Right? We're talking about building like, a Khan Academy, sort of like, those kind of things are now super easy. When we started that conversation, we were limited by many things. We're like, how do you? But the amazing things are right now, those kind of things are very easy. They are super easy. Every school should have a full-blown digital version of everything they do in the cloud. It's not difficult, right? It's easy. It's not in intelligent things like that. They are like easy peasy. They are not something special. They're not. It's not a big deal.
That's a big one. We can't finish our conversation in a day. But there is one part that I want us to quickly touch before we round this up. And with everything that we're saying, how do we get schools to collaborate with industries? How do industries take schools serious? And how do schools know that we need to work with those people to actually even graduate the right set that are going to be fit for the society? Yeah,
I think that the opportunity is there, right? I believe something that the so this is how I see it. Okay, quick rundown. I like to tell the story. The oil sector and the non-oil sector, the journey, and what has happened is the fact that over and over time, as the Nigerian economy, Nigerian focus, began to evolve, right? The non-oil sector began to grow. We have seen a serious growth in that regard, and the kind of talents that they need in the non-oil sector, right, became different. Okay, and so our education system in the era of the oil boom and the big industries then, and the kind of people, because in those days, the kind of people that they needed to do those jobs, right, were people that can just comply, you can obey.
Yeah.
That was just
and follow the rules and procedures.
The technical people you will find in such kind of factories are not usually too much. They're not too many of the technical guys. Most of the people, bulk of the people are doing jobs that just require computer. So if you have, even if you just pass WAEC, you can just do all those jobs. And what has happened is that there's been a shift massively, and the education sector has not aligned with that shift because there wasn't like a conference or a meeting point, sort of, right? And so right now, we need to realize the fact that largely we still have the school model of that era right now. What happened again was the fact that when this industry discovered that school was not catching up, there was now a rise of alternative learning platforms to create sort of like a pipeline for talents to be well nurtured.
Okay,
so that
before they can pass.
Some companies, right, like in the global north, big companies like Google and the likes, they created their own pipeline. All of them created their individual academics and internship programs just to allow talents to easily come around and they can drag them. But here in Nigeria, we didn't have a lot of that. And so, but fortunately, we started seeing some, people started taking courses online, and we started seeing some Nigerian platforms coming up, right? Hot School, Otiva, and the likes, right? Just to nurture that, While I'm saying all this story is just to let us understand the fact that we cannot be successful in the education space, K to 12 specifically, without partnership, right? There's always been a gap, and the gap has always led to like alternatives popping up. And I want to say that the good thing is that all these companies right now, they have freelance. So we're talking about partnership.
Yeah.
On a very simple level, what we need to start from is that we need to ensure that our learners from year 7 and above, they are taking courses from these institutions. There are a lot of online courses, right, that they can take, that these industries on AI, on what have you, on many things, they are cyber securities, they are free courses. And the good thing is that early enough, they are boosting their portfolio, right? And they are learning industry-based knowledge early enough. So that's one very practical thing we need to do. To even start that part. There are many things that can happen.
Yeah.
But let's even leverage things already available.
From that, yeah, that's actually very, very true, especially in this day of just what you said, the MOOCs, these online open online courses. The children have to even become self-directed, learning on their own, you know, drilling in on the skills that they want to have.
Absolutely.
They need to have that skill. It's been exciting, you know. When we're having this conversation, it's always difficult to round it up because there's a lot to say. Thank you so much for coming, and I will encourage school leaders to keep their attention focused on this channel. A lot of things are coming. The old school system, the old school era is dead. It's not dying. It is actually dead. And you need to understand what's happening in the new era for you to actually succeed in the new era. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.